All right, Opie, we are ready to go. Give us
Ready
just a
to
little
go.
pause and then we're ready.
Welcome to Anything New, and tonight I am your host. This is Opie, and beside me, in the cockpit of the Slave One, it's Matt
What's up?
and James. How's it going, guys?
Hello, friends.
Got a little tongue tied there. It's got the little jitters. So, what we got going on this week, guys? Something to talk about. Something a little that's been on the interwebs.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything special that happened this week at all. We probably should just go ahead and call it now. I mean, nothing major happened. Nothing nerdy at all.
Some of the things we're going to be going over tonight are, of course, The Mandalorian. We're going to finish up this awesome series. Watched all of it. We got a new thing coming out, which is going to be the Anything New weekly topic, which is something we've been talking about doing since we've really enjoyed watching The Mandalorian together and some other shows that we've seen kind of simultaneously. Seems like we all like to talk about those things, so we thought it'd be good. We're going to pick one topic, one show, one book, one comic, something that we can read, and this might rotate weekly, and we can discuss that with you guys, and everybody that's listening or watching can kind of follow along. After that, we're going to go over some pickups. Matt's got some pickups. I've got a pickup to show, and James has a pretty big pickup that he's going to show us something he's been working on this week. So let's jump right into it, guys. Let's talk about The Mandalorian. So what did you think?
Well, real quick, spoiler alert, because this is huge. Major spoiler. So if you haven't watched The Mandalorian and you don't want to be spoiled, and if you're watching this live, mute us, come back later. If you're listening to it in the audio version, maybe just look at the timestamp in the show notes and jump to the next thing, because we're going to spoil the heck out of this thing, and I really don't want this to be spoiled for anybody who's never seen it. So man, I thought it was a good ending. It's kind of, if you think about it, it's sort of wrapping up not only season 2 but wrapping up the first 2 seasons with the child Grogu, and Mando's whole mission with him and what he's been trying to do since he picked him up in season 1. I thought it was amazing, though. I thought we got some really cool moments, and obviously the ending, which we'll talk about, but I don't even know where to start.
Well, let's go with a quick recap. Well, first of all, did any of you guys actually get anything spoiled before you watched the episode? Because I kind of did. Sort
of.
Yeah.
I stayed off of, because of what happened last week, or it was the week before, where I was spoiled on Twitter. I stayed off of Twitter all day long, and I only went to Instagram a little bit. And I would be on Instagram, and I would just kind of scroll quickly through, and anytime I saw something from an IGN or a GameSpot or something like that, like those people who are notorious for spoiling things, comic book resources, whatever, I would scroll real fast past it, until I scrolled pretty quickly, but past Mark Hamill's post where all he's doing is just giving the symbol.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was like, oh no, I hope that's not what I think it is, because I've been talking to my buddy Travis about this. We talk about it every week. And weeks ago, he said, I really think that Luke's going to show up at the end of this, because this is right around the time he's building the Jedi Temple, or the Jedi Academy and all that. And I said, there is zero chance of that happening. And I was completely wrong. So when I saw Luke, or Mark Hamill like that on Instagram with no caption, I was like, oh no, why is he telling us all to be quiet? Maybe he's just, but when I saw that, I was like, oh, I think maybe, but I wasn't for sure. But other than that, no spoilers.
Yeah, I didn't get spoiled at all. I purposely kind of stayed off of everything, because I knew it was going to be something big. Like, you could just kind of feel that it was there were going to be something. And then, it was amazing. I'm going to go ahead and say it was my favorite episode of the entire series. Look, I mean, it was one of those where.
Hey, real quick, let me stop you. And sorry, this is a little behind the scenes stuff, guys. Are you streaming YouTube? Because I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it live.
It's private again.
Oh. We'll fix that. Anyway, while we're fixing that, Pete, what were you saying?
I thought it was great. I thought it was one of those episodes where when you get finished with it, you don't want it to end. You're like, no, I don't want that to be the end. I want it to keep going. I want to see what happens tomorrow. You just want, you want 4 or 5 more episodes because it was so good, and I mean, I guess we should do kind of a whole little synopsis of breakdown on exactly what we saw, because it was, from last episode, we know they got to go to the ship, right? They're going to do the rescue mission.
Right.
They bring the crew, right? And right from the get-go, you can kind of tell that Boba Fett, he's a little bit more of a no-nonsense kind of guy.
Yeah.
Than Mando is, right? He's
which I love.
Right.
I mean, it's so fitting for him.
They go recruit the 2 other Mandalorians, right? That's the kind of how the episodes.
Yeah, Bo-Katan and I can't remember the other lady's name.
Yeah, and they go recruit those, and yeah, you're right. Boba Fett's just like, hey, we don't need these 2, and they're kind of giving you, and you kind of get a little bit of a story there of is Bo-Katan the redhead? She's the one that wants to go back. Now let me ask you guys this: when Boba Fett said that, of course we know Alderaan was destroyed, but Mandalore, he said the Empire turned it to glass. What does that mean? Do you guys know from? Is that told in what happened to Mandalore in the animated series? Because it sounds like she wants the ship and the Darksaber to go back to Mandalore to take over and reestablish Mandalorians back on that planet. Did you guys pick up on that at all?
Yes. Yeah, so that's why she wants the Darksabers, because it used to be, from what I understand of the animated series, and everybody's yelling at me who's watched it if I get this wrong, but it used to be hers, and the wielder of the Darksaber is, is the one who leads Mandalore, and that's why she wants it. But I think that all was fleshed out, all that stuff, Mandalore, all that stuff was fleshed out in, I want to say, Rebels. Okay. But I might be wrong. But yeah, and that's what we were talking about. So we've talked a little bit about this show offline. We try to save most of it for when we get on here, but I do feel like every time a new Marvel movie comes out, I pick up on all the Easter eggs, everything, because I've seen all the movies, read all the comics. But now I sort of feel like now I know how the other half lives, because I feel like this show kind of assumes that you've watched Clone Wars and or Rebels, because they don't really spend too much time giving you backstory, even though that backstory exists in those other shows. So I feel like they just sort of assumed you either have watched those or it's not important enough. It's just an Easter egg kind of thing. And I haven't watched any of that stuff, so I don't know. But now, now I'm like, gosh, I really wish I had watched that stuff, because I would love to know the backstory of all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just don't.
I went and read up a little bit on the Darksaber thing, the Moff Gideon's sword.
Yeah.
And because, she says, or he tells her, you can't take it unless you win it in battle. And I guess that was like a whole thing in Rebels.
Okay.
Like they steal the Darksaber from what's his name? From the prequels.
The prequels.
Dude got cut in half. What's his name?
Darth Maul.
Oh, Darth Maul.
Darth Maul had the Darksaber?
Yeah.
Whoa.
He had killed somebody and took it. This is what I read online. He killed somebody, took it, and then they broke into like his place and stole it from him, like in a big cache of weaponry. So that's kind of how it got released into the wild.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right. They kind of talk about some things that, unless you are familiar with that stuff, you would never really understand what they're talking about.
No. Why have I never watched Rebels?
I don't know.
Or Clone Wars. Why have I never watched those? There's so much extra stuff that you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's stuff that, like, I guess when they made the sequels trilogies, that they didn't really implement any kind of backstory of how Rey came about. When they just kind of show, that sort of thing. But I guess they flash back to it a little bit in the third one, but on who she was or what she is. But things like that, or at least you can go back and find that. But that's really cool that they're doing that. So they get the 2 Mandalorians, they get Boba Fett, and they go and they hijack one of these shuttles, the same shuttle class as the shuttle Tidarian in Return of the Jedi. It's good to see that's that type shuttle still there, that the Empire is still using, which has one of those clone engineers, which is the guy in the first episode that brings the child, that's there getting the child for the ransom, the Empire clone engineers. So, that's as it towards the end we'll talk about it, but I didn't really realize he was a clone engineer. I thought he was more just the Empire's, like, one of their scientists, but it's cool to know that that's that. But Matt, what were you saying about the whole Clerks thing? I rewatched it today, and
yeah, they had the conversation, from Clerks. They had the conversation about, when the first Death Star blows up, or the third one, or the second one in the third movie, I guess.
Yeah.
How many of those were actually Empire, and how many of those guys were just independent contractors who were murdered when the thing blew up? They actually talked about that in this episode. They actually had the exact same Clerks conversation. They said how many. Who was it that said it though?
Well, one of both of the shuttle pilots turn around. They storm Cara Dune and the Mandalorian storm the cockpit, and one of the shuttle pilots takes the clone engineer hostage, and he's like, the New Republic, this is a high target for the New Republic. If I kill him and he dies, then you're going to be in trouble with the New Republic, because he knew that I guess they were assuming they were just pirates. Is kind of what they said. And so he said, and she goes, so he saw the star on Cara Dune's, the tattoo she's got. Apparently I guess it's just just in memory of someone you've lost on Alderaan, when Alderaan was destroyed. And
well, wait, I took it to mean she's from Alderaan.
Well,
and her planet was destroyed.
Correct, but I was taking that. Well, I don't know if everybody from Alderaan's going to have a star or a tear tattoo on their face.
Well, no, not everybody. I mean, that's not a thing you do. Like Leia didn't get one, but but I guess Cara Dune, I took it that she's from Alderaan,
and she asked him, well, which Death Star were you on? And he's like, you don't know how, you don't have any idea how many people died. Millions of people died on those two explosions. But anyway, that's what we were saying in the movie Clerks, the Kevin Smith movie. They have just this weird nerd conversation about the Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi or Star Wars, when they blow up the Death Star, and how many people were on that, independent contractors that weren't part of the Empire, would die when it exploded.
Just average guys that are out there trying to make a living,
Yep.
They get a nice government job, good benefits, probably, getting off the frozen planet of Hoth, looking for a greener pasture somewhere, maybe move their kids off eventually. Yeah. And then all these rebels just come and blow it all up,
Which I love it, because when that conversation came about in Clerks, I'd certainly never thought about it before, and I was like, oh, haha, that's a funny thought, that's real good. And now that whole thing is like canon.
Yeah,
it's like legit in Star Wars that a lot of the guys that died were really contractors and things like that, guys just trying to make a living. So that I thought that was cool.
So they set up. So once they steal the ship, they jump into hyperspace, and they're kind of setting up their attack, and they've got a plan to where they're going to look like they're being attacked or chased by Boba Fett in Slave One. And so they jump out of hyperspace and do this really cool battle where, Boba Fett's trying to shoot them down, and it makes it look like they're under attack, and they fly the ship right into the hangar of the Star Destroyer, which was kind of cool. And that's how they kind of bust their way in. From then on, that's how they board the ship, board the Star Destroyer. Of course, Mando's going to go looking for the child, and the Mandalorians are going to go looking for Darth Sidious. But what about
that? Well, I was just going to talk about that. Like, so they split up. Yeah, like Mando went off on his own, and then you're left with Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorian. I'm bad with names. Ming-Na Wen's character and Cara Dune. How about some girl power?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
those are all girls.
I thought that was pretty cool. And I don't think, they didn't do it on purpose, but that's just who that's who there was there. And I kind of thought that was kind of cool. There was a it didn't, I don't know how long it lasted, but there was an Avengers comic that was out for a few years that featured all female members of the team. And then, there was that cool scene at the end of Endgame where all the female members kind of sort of like teamed up and helped Spider-Man get the Infinity Gauntlet away from Thanos, and that sort of made me think about that as like, yeah, it's cool to see all the female characters kind of team up and just kick a lot of ass. But not that it seems that hard when it's against a bunch of stormtroopers. The only thing, so I didn't love that because I just feel like it's, like when you're playing a video game, right? And you can just run into one, like I think about something like Doom or something that's just not a cover shooter, just a run and gun. You just run into a room and you shoot all the bad guys, and sure, they hit you, but you don't die. Maybe your hit points go down or whatever, but you don't die. And that's so these four badass women were just sort of running through the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
And every time a gaggle of stormtroopers run up, and they would just bang, 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 and
I kind of in this is I'll get your guys' opinions on this, and I was kind of disappointed a little bit, but I just think that stormtroopers are just such a running joke in Star Wars, and I don't know if they intend for them to be that bad, because I could understand making a movie in 1977 and not really having elite fighters. But I've seen it, I've seen a lot of Star Wars fans and a lot of Star Wars like lore. They would like to see, stormtroopers kind of portrayed as an elite trained fighting force when they're really not. I mean, not the way that these shows pertain to them.
Yeah, but of literally course, cannon fodder.
And of course maybe Cara Dune, and you've got a bounty hunter, and you've got two straight up Mandalorians with badass weapons. Maybe they're just going to be that strong. But on the other hand, the one thing that we're going to kind of run into when we're on this are the Dark Troopers, which, we come to find out that these are they're droids. There's no people inside these Dark Trooper, which I really thought that was a letdown myself. Sure, they kind of looked, I don't even think they looked really cool. I didn't like them at all. I thought myself that the IG-88, the assassin droids were cooler than these guys were a little bit. Yeah. I mean, in the first season, they did some badass stuff. The assassin droids do, but these Dark Troopers, I didn't like them much at all.
They are awful Terminator looking, and the thing that bothered me about them being badass droids were Episode 1 featured battle droids before stormtroopers were a thing.
Yep.
And then 2 and 3 is when you get your stormtroopers, your clone army and that kind of stuff. But then so we had stormtroopers through episodes 4, 5, and 6. Now cut to this 5 years later, and now it's like they're experimenting going back to sort of droid troopers.
Yeah.
And then by the time you hit Episode 7, which is about 25 years after this series, or after this season at least, they've gone back to having troopers in the First Order troopers. So it's like pick a lane, Empire. Do you want humans or do you want droids?
Exactly, and that's the thing is like if you watch even some of the animated series, you watch Episode 1 and then 2 on between episodes 1, the Phantom Menace, and then Episode 2, the Clone Wars, they distinctly they tell you that they're going to clones because droids they can genetically engineer these clones to be more elite fighters. And then you fast forward all the way up to this episode, and the clone engineer himself said on the shuttle the vulnerability to the troopers, and I guess this was the third generation. They've tried Dark Troopers, I guess, the first 2 generations, and that could be something I've not seen before, but this is a third generation, and they're no longer suits. And he said that the one thing, the problem was the human on the inside. And you're right, make up your mind. You started off, droids were better than humans, and now humans are better than droids, and now here we go again, droids are better than humans, and then.
So what was the point of the blood? Like if it's just all droid, were they gonna?
You mean move Grogu's blood?
Yeah.
Well, that didn't have anything to do with the Dark Troopers. They were trying to essentially make clones, they were trying to make clones and infuse them with midi-chlorians to give them to make them force sensitive. So they were trying to make a new clone army. Well, see, okay, but that's now that I say that, I kind of wish they had expanded on that more because, like I said, we talked about it, I think a week or two ago. I saw some theories online that said maybe that sort of leads into how Palpatine came back in Episode 9, was they were trying to clone him and bring him back. I don't think he was a clone in Episode 9. I'm sure, but But maybe that had something to do with that, or maybe they're just trying to make another force-sensitive clone army. I don't really know, but they weren't that. The blood and all the clones from the lab that they found on the one planet a few weeks ago, that's different from the Dark Troopers. Those are two separate experiments, I guess.
I thought the blood was going in like the older version of like the Dark Troopers. Like when we thought there were actually people inside the Dark Troopers, I thought they were getting like force powers, and like these troopers would be able to like use some like force abilities. But that wasn't true. They were just like super strong.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just tough, like Terminator type things.
Yeah.
You know, and speaking of the stormtroopers being terrible, I think wasn't it last week where they were on the, you know, they were basically trying to break into the mining base. It was one episode, I don't know where it was, where the only time I've seen stormtroopers be badass was there was a gaggle of them swarming and like firing and taking out a whole group. I thought it was when they took out the group of pirates or something like that. When, you know, Bill Burr's character and Mando pushed through that truck that they stole.
Oh yeah.
And the pirates were chasing them, and then these stormtroopers come out, and yeah, exactly, and they were actually very, very effective.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, wait, where are these stormtroopers?
Yeah.
How come? You know, it's like the stormtroopers are only as good as the writers need them to be.
Right.
So I guess it's a little bit of plot armor or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So and just building on the Dark Troopers when. So Mando's off on his own looking for Grogu, and that's when he runs across, or I don't know, maybe he was, because they talked about, they gave him that identification stick on the shuttle and said to lock him in. Yeah, to lock him in. So he was, I guess, en route to where they were when they got activated, and so the one kind of escapes through the door, and he shuts the door on the rest, and actually destroys the one that made it through. After he punched him, barely. Punched him in the face about 50 times. Man, that Beskar.
So
get some of
Matt's
that.
totally right about that the Terminator, because that's what it reminded me of when it was.
Yep.
When he was punching him in the helmet.
Yep.
That scene from Terminator where it's like slamming his head against that. Gosh.
Yeah.
That thing was awesome, but I was a little upset at first when they all got sucked out
the
ship. I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
They put a port on the back of there, and these things can't even fly around. They just, like, how dumb is that?
Yeah.
But then, you know, we learned that they can, and they come back to the ship, which was cool. But at first I was like, if they do that, that's totally lame.
I know.
That's what I thought too. I was like, you gotta be you gotta be kidding me that the storage bay for the Dark Troopers is an airlock?
Yeah.
Really? You know, I mean, oh gosh, I thought that was really stupid until they all came flying back, and then I thought, okay, that's fine, okay, but if you don't store them in an airlock, they don't have to come back and fly back to the ship in the first place.
Right.
Yeah,
that was pretty late.
Old gullible Mando gets in there, you know, with Baby Yoda, you know, and you know, what's his name?
Gideon.
Moff Gideon's like, go ahead, you know, I'll let you take him. Just give me the sword or whatever, you know, right? And then he's like, okay, so like that's gonna be it, you know, like just a fair trade.
Yeah,
like how dumb. I mean, come on, man. But that was a great scene, you know. Like I thought that little standoff there between them and him pulling out the Beskar, you know, big pike, you know, battling off Gideon with that was pretty epic. I thought that was a really good fight.
Yep. Yeah, so all right, so the nerd in me got excited, you know. Oh, this is cool because so what I took away from that is that Beskar steel is basically Star Wars' version of adamantium, which is the metal that's Wolverine's bones and his claws are laced with, right? And you know, strongest metal on Earth, nothing can bend it, break it, you know, anything like that. So I was like, okay, so Beskar is the same as adamantium. Beskar is the only thing that this dark saber, because we saw, or lightsabers, we also saw that lightsabers, dark sabers can't cut through Beskar, which there's always been a nerd debate about, can lightsabers cut through Wolverine's claws? Now we know, or now I think that they can't, because I think adamantium and Beskar are kind of the same thing. So, you know, that has nothing to do with anything, but my nerd self went crazy. I was like, oh, sweet, finally something that lightsabers can't cut through. A little bit of a MacGuffin because you have to give the hero a weapon that can withstand the weapon that the antagonist has. But and I was wondering if the episode with Ahsoka that where he got the spear, I was like, I wonder if that spear is going to come into play, and it turns out that was way more important than we even knew at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was so cool to see him, whipping out that Beskar spear, and didn't he use it to kill the Dark Trooper, the one Dark Trooper that escaped through the door, and then he used it to withstand Moff Gideon's Darksaber. I thought that whole thing was, and I was like, finally, Mando's actually fighting and being a badass and doing something.
Yep.
Because normally, Mando's supposed to be this badass bounty hunter, but we've talked about it every week. He doesn't really do anything. Everybody else does all the stuff, and we don't ever get to see him do a lot. So that fight was good for me to say, okay, yeah, he really does deserve this, that title of badass bounty hunter, because he kicked everybody's ass.
So the Spice Girls have stormed the bridge, and they stormed the bridge of the ship, and couldn't find Gideon. Of course, he was fighting Mando, and Mando finally defeats him and brings him and Grogu back to the bridge, and that's when the Dark Troopers resurface. They fly back into the hangar. Some kind of opening. Apparently, this Star Destroyer has huge holes underneath it that are just used for whatever. Yeah, they fly
close
back.
themselves off with those blast doors, right? Like those are like seriously big blast doors.
Yep.
And you could that I tell you what, that there was some tension building there, and I thought they did a really good job when the troopers came back up in there and they're kind of marching towards the door, and you can kind of see on all their faces that they're trapped, and like if it took Mando everything he had and he almost got destroyed by one of them, how are 4 or 5 of them going to destroy 30 of them? You know what I mean?
And especially when everybody, I mean, maybe not Cara Dune because she's got that big blaster, but everybody else just has like a blaster pistol, and they're just aiming it at the door. And I'm like, what's that? Right. I understand they don't have much other choice, but what's that going to do against a big army of Dark Troopers?
And then they just start punching that door, and it's just a matter of time until they get in there and just wreck them. Until
the X-Wing.
So, okay. So, and this is the biggest talking point of the whole episode, right? Was the last 5-10 minutes or whatever. So when you guys saw the single X-Wing, did you know right then exactly who and what it was?
Well, go ahead, James.
I had that's who as soon as I saw one X-Wing, I wanted it to be that. That's what I wanted it to be, but I didn't think it was. But then as soon as they showed, the cloak, then I knew, and then they showed the glove.
Yeah.
And then they showed the green lightsaber, which that green lightsaber, that was always my favorite one growing up. Like that Return of the Jedi lightsaber, that was just the best.
Yeah.
And as soon as they showed that, and we shared some images in our Discord of the similarities between that scene of him coming through that, opening that foggy doorway, with his lightsaber down, to Darth Vader's scene where he comes through that foggy doorway with his lightsaber down.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just like one of those moments, man, like where you're just like, yes, totally nerded out, and like you kind of feel like, oh man, like what, I just do that, but I don't care.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Yeah, when I saw the single X-Wing, that's the first thing that went through my head. But then I was like, I'd seen some other fans speculating that like Mace Windu may come back from the dead, that he was going to have a. Well, I heard that Mace Windu was going to come back and he was going to have a run-in with Boba Fett, and because Mace Windu killed Jango Fett. He killed Jango Fett in the thing, so he was going to come back to rescue Grogu and them. And then I don't know why she would have an X-Wing, but I thought it might have been Ahsoka, but it wasn't. When I really zeroed in that it was Luke when he showed the lightsaber, the hilt. I recognized the hilt of being the Return of the Jedi one before. I didn't really take the cloak and the green lightsaber, but the glove and the hilt, just kind of, And I still didn't believe it. I was waiting for it to be something else.
There's no way
until it's something else. And then
One thing I thought was Oh, so good.
No, I was just gonna say when I started believing about the time he got to the door, I was like, please don't screw up this CGI. I know it's gonna be CGI, just don't screw it up. Just don't let it look so bad that Oh.
Yeah. Well, so one of the things that I loved, one of my favorite parts, and it was kind of a small little part, but they always gave so much crap to like Return of the Jedi Luke for not really using his Force powers.
Yeah.
He's a Jedi Master now. He should just be able to wreck stuff with his Force powers.
Yeah.
And in this scene, we got to see a little bit of that, like where he just kind of like uses his hand and crunches up one of those Dark Troopers like a soda can.
Yeah. And it does remind me
that was awesome.
Of at the end of Rogue One, Darth Vader's run through the Rebel troopers. It was almost similar to the moves that he was using, to wreck that whole crew on that ship as they were trying to escape with the plans at the end of Rogue One, which is just an epic, man. That was another give me chill scene when I didn't expect that to happen, but that was so cool.
Yeah. Sure. Going back to the X-Wing real quick. Yeah, I was like you, Opie. I was sort of even when I saw the X-Wing, I was still sort of a Skywalker denier, thinking there's no way. That's not Luke. That's impossible. I thought it was also Ahsoka. And I was like, I didn't even think about where she would have gotten one. I just assumed, I was like, okay, she's gonna come back and help him, and she's gonna change her mind and say, I'll train Grogu or whatever. The minute I saw the black cloak, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And it hit me harder because, like I said, I talked to our buddy Travis. We talk about it every week, and he said weeks ago that he thought Luke was gonna come back, and I literally said he. Jerk, he sent me a screenshot of where I said there is zero chance that Luke's coming back, and I was totally wrong. But like what you're saying about him using his Force powers and stuff, that is the Luke that I always wanted since I was a kid in 1983 watching Return of the Jedi. That's the Luke that I always wanted, was just him, tearing up stuff, slicing things in half, pushing things, crushing things, and that was just that was awesome. And I know we've kind of gotten used to seeing that level of force powerfulness now that we've lived through the prequels and the sequels. But man, because we didn't see anything like that in the original trilogy. Like it was just it was just little like I'll levitate a ball or something. But
right. And now they're bringing down like Star Destroyers. Powers like
the best move you would see in the original 3 was like Obi-Wan would spin or something and do the old spin move and like, almost got you.
That's the Luke I always wanted, and I loved that whole he was just did you think that he almost mowed through them all a little bit too easily?
Oh yeah.
Like they could have, because I don't know, I mean, he's a Jedi Master and the others aren't, and Mando could barely take one and Luke's just melting all of them. You would expect that, but I did kind of think, well, maybe they could have made it a little bit more of a challenge for him. Maybe he could have taken one or two punches.
I just kind of relate that to how sucky the Dark Troopers were. They just didn't move. They didn't act like they were just going to shoot him with a blaster or try to grab him or something like that. They had if they're just going to stand there and a lightsaber is probably the weapon suited most to destroy droids. I mean, you can blast droids and it would you just got to give it up for just having a lightsaber versus a droid. And if you can deflect lasers and avoid slow moving droids, then you can wreck them.
Yeah, if you can dodge your inch, you can dodge.
Yeah, I was more disappointed in the Dark Troopers than I was that they made it so easy for him to go through them, because I assumed that would have been the case for any Jedi.
We need to give him some props though. At least they had Luke come in an X-wing. They could have went a really bad move and like had him fly there like Princess Leia.
See,
she flies in the ship, It was like
that scene was kind of ridiculous. I don't take it as she was flying. I take it as she was reaching out with the Force. Like if I was going to levitate my headphones over here, they would come to me. But if I'm going to reach out to my wall over there and try to pull it to me, it's going to pull me to it instead. So I just took it as Leia in episode 8. Was it 8? Was it episode 8? Yeah, it was episode 8. She did that. I took it as she reached out with the Force, but instead of pulling it to her, she pulled herself to it. She wasn't flying. I mean, but
sure,
even as a kid, I always said, why can't Jedi fly?
Mm.
Because if they can levitate, so I can live. If I should be able to levitate myself if I'm a Jedi.
Guardian Leviosa.
Yeah, when watching the Phantom Menace and watching Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn jump around in the end there when they're fighting, I was like, whoa, these are what Jedi do, Like
maybe they're like Incredible Hulk. They can just like bound really high.
I used to watch some like directors' comments on some of the original trilogies, and when they were filming Star Wars, they told Alec Guinness and the guy that played Darth Vader, that the lightsabers were supposed to feel like they were heavy, like almost like medieval swords. Yeah. That's what Lucas kind of had in mind, that they were swinging like two-handed, Excalibur swords, and that's why you kind of feel, see the kind of action you do. They're not really. I mean, up until now, till the modern.
Then you get to the prequels, and they're double,
flowing them around. They're slinging, for the force spin and bringing it back. But anyway, so I'm just going to say it. I got emotional when I saw Luke. I'm not going to lie. Teared up a little bit. Thought, whoa, you just tugged on the old heartstrings there. I got more emotional that it was Luke than Grogu leaving. I mean,
really?
Some people, I wasn't real. I mean, I just thought, man, you just pulled my childhood.
Oh, mine was for sure when Luke's going to take the child. Mando won't give him up. He says he won't go, and Luke says he wants your permission, right? And then, Grogu reaches up and touches like his mask, his helmet. So then he takes his helmet off. He touches his face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he says, "I'll see you again. I promise."
Whoa.
And I was like, "Damn, dude." That was serious stuff, man.
Yeah.
They went through a lot together.
That tugged on my old father heartstrings. Of being a dad. Thinking about giving up your kid. That was. And then freaking R2 comes in.
What's the deal?
Awesome.
Someone said online that they've known each other from somewhere before they've met each other, and you could tell by their reaction. What do you guys feel? What is the deal with that?
Who? Luke
R2 and Grogu.
R2 and Grogu?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get that.
You didn't. He's perked up when he saw the droid. He walked right over to the droid. If you go back and watch it again.
Well, I noticed that, but I just assumed that. Grogu has an obsession like with the little ball on the gear shift of the Razor Crest, I just assumed that Grogu was like, oh, here's a new toy that I get to play with.
Yeah.
That's how I took it.
Well, they actually
he definitely perked up though, for sure.
Yeah, they kind of had a conversation there for some reason, but I don't know.
We got to talk about Luke's CGI Luke's face.
Go ahead. Tell us what you think, Matt.
I thought it was awful.
Oh.
Well, you're wrong.
You are wrong.
I thought it was terrible.
I thought it wasn't terrible.
I thought it was marginally better than CGI Grand Moff Tarkin and Princess Leia in Rogue One.
I thought those were great.
I thought those were even worse than Luke's CGI face. I thought Luke's CGI face was terrible.
Well, let's see you do better, okay?
I can't do better. That's why I don't work for. I don't pretend to be better. I can't. That's why I don't try to get a job at ILM. Here's what I don't understand. I would have thought it was good had I never seen shoot, which one was it? Had I never seen Spider-Man Far From Home, or even before where they de-age Robert Downey Jr. or especially or Ant-Man where they de-age Michael Douglas, or especially what I consider to be the pinnacle of all that. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where they de-age Kurt Russell at the beginning.
Sounds like some comic book home cooking to me.
No,
what do you think?
if you watch, okay, I'm serious. I want you to do this. I want you to watch the first 10 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or maybe it's not the first 10. It's the bit at the beginning where you see a young Kurt Russell.
Right. Yeah, they go out and they on the date.
Part. They go in the convertible.
Yeah, it's the beginning.
Watch that part, and then watch the CGI Luke's face, and figure out and try to figure out. What I don't understand is they're both owned by Disney. I would assume that they have access to the same resources. Why, if the Marvel movies can do it flawlessly, why can't Star Wars do it? Why are Star Wars CGI faces so bad? And it's not even Star Wars.
So
like
bad.
if you think about Tron Legacy, of course that was several years ago, but that CGI is real bad. Jeff Bridges, Jeff Bridges, that's awful.
Yeah.
I just thought
I don't know what was bad about it. I thought
it was awful. He looked fake plastic.
I don't think so. I thought it looked pretty good. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think they're getting better. But I thought it was good. Like I
do wonder what the technology was. So if you look on IMDb, there is an actor who is credited as like stand-in Jedi or something like that. So, and he does, in the face, he resembles a young Mark Hamill. So I wonder if they used him, if they used any part of his face, and also tried to put Mark Hamill on top, or like I wonder what. I just kind of wish they would have just called, hey, Mark Hamill, we need you to shave, and we need you to be on set in a week, and just brought him in and de-aged him, and using whatever technology they use in Guardians 2. Like that's all I needed. Because was it even? I'm assuming it was Mark Hamill's voice, right?
Yeah, it sounded like they clicked.
From what I read, it's what you just said. They had this guy come in who looks a lot like Mark Hamill. And then they kind of deep faked over top of him a little bit, and because there's like some side by side shots of this guy and Mark Hamill, and then there's kind of like a little bit in between is where they tried to go to kind of match it up. It's like a deep fake,
Yeah, I've seen. We talked about it in Discord. I've seen better deep fakes on YouTube.
No, you haven't. That's a lie.
When they you see people do the deep fakes of like Bill Hader doing Arnold Schwarzenegger and all that's or Tom Cruise, those deep fakes look way better than what we saw in this episode.
Okay.
I thought it looked awful.
Okay.
I just thought it looked terrible. I love that Luke was there, but I was like, oh, we're gonna, he tore through the Dark Troopers. I was like, oh man, we're gonna see Luke. We haven't seen young Luke in forever. And then he stepped through and took off his suit. I was like, that's not good.
You're in the minority on this one because most of the people that I saw online were pleased with the special effect.
Well, everybody's entitled to their opinion, even the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't,
Let's move on, guys. Post credits. What'd you think about that? So go ahead.
Well, yeah, go ahead and run down what.
Well, you cut. So post credits after this episode, if you kind of sit around, and I was kind of I really honestly didn't know there was going to be a post credit. I was kind of like, I always like watching the artwork at the end, and then all of a sudden it pans to you see a twin suns on the horizon of a desert planet, and it pans around, and what is it setting on the hilltop there? It's Jabba the Hutt's palace. What's going on? And then we see a familiar sight. It's the stairway down to Jabba the Hutt's palace, and it pans to the throne, or the main throne room, and who's sitting on the throne? It's Bib Fortuna. Bib Fortuna was Jabba the Hutt's right-hand man in Return of the Jedi. He's the dude that had the snake around his neck or whatever, and would do all the translating for him. I had no idea he didn't go on the barge out to. I had no idea he didn't die on the barge. So he has taken over.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I never thought about it.
Yeah, everybody went out on the barge to watch Luke and them get thrown in the Sarlacc, and then they blew the barge up. Now I don't know if he's would have survived it or not, or if he just stayed behind or whatever. But he's sitting on the throne and he's fattened up and he's got a little plump.
He's kind of let himself go. He's probably been married for a few years. Got a few kids.
Got him a nice looking Twi'lek.
Yeah, Twi'lek's doing some dancing or whatever, and he's whatever. And then all of a sudden you hear, bam, some blasting. You see some Gamorrean guards go running around and they get blasted, and it's the mean character, I forget her name, and then Boba Fett comes down, and there's no talking going on. He just blows. He just kills everybody, and then kills Bib Fortuna.
Cold blood.
And pulls him off, and sits on the throne. And then it kind of flashes to the book.
Let me ask you this: when Boba Fett walked down, shot Bib, well, like right before he did that, he kind of walked down and just like stood there for a second. did you think the same thing I did? Was like, don't stand there.
Yeah.
Don't stand
Yeah,
there.
I didn't
Like,
think that,
what
but
are
that's so
you
good.
doing?
Right, right.
Don't you know what's
Don't
down there?
you know?
Get
You
off
should
that
know.
thing.
Like everybody should know. There's a trap door there.
As soon as he stood, but
I
it never,
did
you know.
not. Did not
You
think
know, even
that,
though they
James.
killed the Rancor and the old,
Kudos to
figure,
you.
well, maybe they put something else on there, you know.
Yeah. Well, well, maybe they got a new Rancor.
I thought the
That's
same thing. I was like, oh, so we're going to see a Rancor. They're going to fall down the hole. Nope.
But that was cool, and just the way he sat down on the throne.
Yep.
And then his sidekick, you know.
Yep.
I can't remember her name. What's her name?
Fennec. I had to look it up because I don't remember. Fennec Shand.
She kind of just like plops right up on there, like, yep. Like,
Starts drinking Bib Fortuna's liquor.
Yep.
This is our hood now, you know, and like so. That's going to be a whole spin-off, right?
Yep. The Book of Boba Fett, 2021.
And with how ruthless he is, and now he's going to probably have like his whole own crime syndicate.
Yep.
Where he's probably going to just get like some BA mofos, you know, on his team, and they're just going to like. I mean,
maybe we'll see IG-88. Maybe we'll see Bosk and Dengar and Zuckuss and Forloom, all the bounty hunters from the Empire.
All the bounty hunters.
That'd be cool. Have like a bounty hunter show.
What?
So don't forget though. So at the end of that, it goes to black and it just says the Book of Boba Fett. Did you guys say that? Was I reading something when you said it? Okay, my bad. Well, I tuned out because I had to look. So did you guys know? Did you guys think? What did you guys think when it said the Book of Boba Fett? What did you think that meant?
Well, I had heard he was getting his own series anyway, so that's what I thought it was about.
Yeah, so I thought because I didn't know because they had just had the Disney Investors Day thing.
Yeah,
like a week ago or a little bit more, and they announced a bunch of new Star Wars shows, right? And I was like, well, that's weird. They didn't announce anything about Boba Fett, so I wonder if this is just like sort of the name of the next season. Like it's going to maybe center around Boba Fett, and so maybe it's going to be like almost like a subtitle, like The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett. But when I looked up Ming-Na Wen's character's name, Fennec Shand, I Google or on IMDb I searched for Ming-Na Wen. And the very next thing after The Mandalorian is a TV series called The Book of Boba Fett. So it's actually a separate series. It's going to be a separate series from The Mandalorian. Now, everybody else probably knew that. I just wasn't sure because it wasn't announced. But then I guess if they'd announced it, it kind of would have spoiled the tail end of the season finale. So not only all that stuff they announced at the Disney Investors thing, there's another series. So now we're going to get a series all around Boba Fett. And Opie, what you said would be cool if it was a series with all the bounty hunters and like Boba Fett running those. So
that would be awesome.
There were some articles online, and I didn't read them because I don't love reading articles like after you see a movie or watch a show of the finale of something. I don't love articles. Like there's a bunch of articles that say, you know, what the Book of Boba Fett could mean for this or what. I don't like reading that stuff because it's all just speculation and rumors and nobody really knows. I don't like getting into all that stuff. But what do you guys think why do you think Boba Fett would want to kill Bib Fortuna and take over Jabba's throne? I just kind of thought that Boba Fett just wants to be the crime boss of Tatooine like Jabba was.
That's probably it. Until now, Boba Fett was considered dead, except in fan fiction. So maybe there was no one really there to rescue him.
We'll find out. I mean, they'll probably go into a little bit of backstory about. So Boba Fett's been living on Tatooine, right, up until this point, without his armor.
Right.
Probably didn't have any sort of, muscle. So he's got his armor back. He purposely went right back to Tatooine, where he could went anywhere.
Yeah.
Went back to Tatooine. So we'll probably find out in those shows, kind of like probably bridge that gap on like what Bib was doing, and maybe might have just been strong arming everybody there.
Sure.
Boba Fett goes right back and just takes him out. That's like agenda number one. So there's got to be something there on why.
That's a good point.
He would have went right there.
Yeah, that's a good point, James. Because during the time that before Jabba got killed, Boba Fett had no reason. He returned Han Solo to Jabba was a pretty regular in the palace. I guess he was maybe Jabba's right-hand bounty hunter at the time. So I'm sure, he didn't owe him any money. But I'm thinking like you, James, that once he crawled out of got out of the Sarlacc pit, that maybe went back to Bib Fortuna for help and saw he was vulnerable and kicked him to the curb. Like, you don't have your armor, none of that crap. Maybe there was some beef there between them because he didn't even converse with him. He just blasted him. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out, but I'm just wondering. Until then, I just kind of wonder.
There's really nothing that we would be able to find out, or know.
It'll be good.
It'll be good.
Do you guys think we'll see Grogu again? Do you guys think we'll revisit him? I just don't know where the series goes from here because, like, for 2 seasons, it's been all about the child and getting him where he needs to go. It's like, well, shoot, now what? I mean, I'm sure that's why writers are writers. They'll figure out a good story, but I just don't know what's next.
Do you
for Mando? I don't know.
Well, now that it's over, do you guys believe that Grogu was holding up the series, or was The Mandalorian alone a good enough series without Grogu?
I think it'll be fine without Grogu, but it'll just be different because he was, part of it would be like having Fresh Prince without Carlton. Sure, Will Smith's character's still fun, but it's always fun to have that character to play off of, and now he won't be there.
Right.
And I think, isn't Cara Dune getting her own series too?
Oh,
I don't remember. I can't remember.
I don't. Yeah.
They announced so much, I don't remember what all was there.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was a good finale. It was. I thought it was maybe one of the best episodes, if not the best,
I think so.
Of everything that's been out so far.
It was good enough for us to talk for 53 minutes on the finale.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I'm glad it's up there. So we'll move on from there. So yeah, Mandalorian. If you haven't seen it, I watched the last episode twice. You guys check it out. Sorry, we've spoiled everything, but yeah, it's good. If you're listening, you were warned. So what we're going to do this week, guys, is we like we said at the beginning of the show, we've kind of conversed and we enjoyed so much talking about The Mandalorian and things that we have all watched and kind of enjoyed together, and that kind of makes for good conversation, seeing that we talked for 53 minutes about something. So, we kind of talked off the air about doing that every week. So what we're going to do is we're going to start picking something, just a weekly topic, a weekly book, a weekly comic, a weekly TV show, a weekly movie to watch. And this could be old, this could be new, this could be retro, this could be a rerun. I mean, we've dabbled in the fact that our own Matt here has not seen some of the greatest movies of all time in his past and kind of bumfuzzled us and why we're even friends with him because of some of the things he hasn't seen. So it's possible that we may go back and watch movies like that and talk about them on air and discuss them with, the audience if you want to. So, I'm graciously your host for the first time this week. And the guys have, left it up to
something too, right? Is we're going to rotate hosts every week.
Yeah, we're going to try that.
Host will then sort of dole out the assignment of what this weekly thing is going to do to everybody, and then the next week will come and
feels good. So that's up on my shoulders this week. So
right,
and I was going to kind of surprise you guys with this, and I thought this was be a good, easy one to start off with. And it's gonna be new, okay? So it's nothing old. I didn't go back and pick anything old, but since it is Christmas time and Christmas is coming up, and I know we all three have HBO Max now, we're gonna watch Wonder Woman 1984 on Christmas Day. It's released, and we'll talk about it. We're gonna talk about it next Sunday. So Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be released on HBO Max on Christmas Day. I was going to watch it anyway. Been looking forward to watching it on that, and it's going to be released in theaters too. And I think we touched on it a couple of episodes ago, kind of when we were talking about the whole HBO Max streaming service thing. So everyone out there, if you're within the sound of my voice, try to watch it if you can. Like I said, streaming on HBO Max this Friday is Christmas.
Yep. And in theaters too. So if you feel comfortable going out to a theater, you can watch it that way.
I love the first one. The first one was a really good movie. I enjoyed it immensely. Thought it was good. Matt, right? Did you like it?
Yeah, I like that. The third act was a little weak, but overall, I really, really liked it. Quite a bit, actually.
I'll watch any chick named Diana running around.
That's right.
Shout out
to your Diana.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I thought you were going to make me watch Goodfellas or High Fidelity.
Well, we'll get into that once we do that. But
once it comes back around to your turn again,
maybe we'll see how this goes. But I just thought that was a no-brainer because I was going to watch that this week anyway, and I kind of felt like you guys were going to do it too.
Because I thought next week was going to be my turn, and I figured neither one of you would want to watch Wonder Woman, so I was going to make you watch it next week to talk about 2 weeks from now.
No, so, shoot, are you crazy? I'm an '80s kid. It's 1984, and the trailer looked great. The trailer looked awesome. So yeah.
But I do promise when it is every time it's my turn, I do promise not to make you watch comic book movies every time.
That's okay if you do. That's what this is. We're all in this together.
And
even though you hate
no Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it's the same with James. Just because, Matt, that you don't like, Luke Skywalker CGI doesn't mean that we can't not like Ant-Man.
Right. I think.
Okay, moving on. So we got some pickups going on this week. Matt, you want to start us off with your pickups this week?
Yeah, so the first one, it's not... So this is going to be weird because it's not a brand new pickup, and I showed it before, but I showed it in a different way before, and it totally fits with the thing we've been talking about for the last 53 minutes. I finally got around to building the Lego Razor Crest. And it's pretty cool. It comes with Mando, and it comes with the child, and it comes with Carl Weathers' character down in there. It also comes with a scout trooper for some reason. And then it also comes with what was the droid? Was this? It wasn't.
No, it's not IG-88. It's IG something.
Yeah, one of those type droids. But it opens up all over the place. The back opens up, and the sides. It's hard to do when I'm. But the sides open up, and it's got. One of the pieces came off already, and I mean it just opened.
Every episode there are pieces flying off that.
They made it this way. But yeah, this was totally cool. I built this over the last couple of days when I didn't have.
It's good.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's not a new pickup, and I showed it off in the box before when I first got it. But yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. I like it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So then the other thing that I wanted to show, I pre-ordered this quite a while ago, and it just came in this week. Something I was really excited about, and Opie, you remember when I ordered it? I got it from. We have mixed feelings about Hasbro Pulse and their exclusive online Hasbro stuff.
Those came in.
Yeah, but so I ordered. Hasbro Pulse had these exclusive Marvel Legends figures, but they're like little 4-inch ones.
Cool.
So they came in a box like this. There was 4 sets, so they came in a box like this. So this one's Spider-Man and Electro, and it came with little 4-inch figures. Try to get those. Little Spider-Man Electro. There's not much articulation on them, but that's kind of cool because they're kind of retro. The cards are sort of retro.
Yeah.
So I got the set that had all 4 different sets. So there was that one. There was the Captain America and Black Panther box, which came with Captain America and Black Panther.
Those are cool.
And then there was the box with Cyclops and Iron Man. I don't know why they would put those two together. It's kind of weird, but so here's the figures, what those look like.
That's awesome.
Those are pretty cool. And then I ordered the pack that had the exclusive, and it was the so all those other boxes were kind of like blue. This one is Black Panther and Iron Man, which we already saw, but these ones are sort of metallic, so you can see the sort of shininess. So it's the same molds but they're like metallic paint, and yeah. So I got all 4 sets.
Wow! And the cards, cool. The holes aren't even punched in the card and everything. Those are
they're unpunched.
Those are crispy.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. Like if you take I've got a Marvel Legends Thunderstrike here that showed off a while back. You can see the size difference between.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Between them, and not a lot of articulation, but they're retro. They're supposed to sort of be how figures used to be with just shoulders and legs and head. That's it. So Yeah, that whole set came in. I was super excited.
That's awesome.
That's it.
Okay, I'll go next. I'll be quick because my pickup this week, and this is kind of funny. We kind of get on our own Discord. We kind of post pics and things of that we're wanting or we're trying to find, and we've got a watcher of the show and an honored guest who kind of frequents with us sometime. But I was able to pick up the All Striker G.I. Joe retro line for our buddy Dan. This is not for me. This is for our buddy Dan. And this was at my Walmart. And you know what? I actually put it in the cart and I almost put it back because I was like, I need to ease up on some of my stuff because I know that I'm looking for that Masters of the Universe stuff that's coming out and things like that. And then I was like, I'm going to just, hang on to this because I know we're going to be seeing each other pretty soon. We're going to have a meetup up at his house, and we all have little things that we're going to exchange with one another. And I know he's been looking for this. So, Dan, buddy, I got you an All Striker. We were chatting in the Discord.
Striker.
That we were chatting in the Discord, and one of our other listeners, J-Dub, he had found one and posted a picture, and Dan's like, "I'll get it, please, God, I'll do anything."
Is that where Dan?
That's exactly what he said.
Going around to a bunch of different WalMarts. Is that what he was looking for?
Yeah. He's been
looking for those G.I. Joe retro figures. Yeah. And that.
Yeah. So that's yours, buddy.
Nice.
Friendship.
And I think Pete's got he's got some home improvement pickups for us now.
I do. My pickup, I'm just going to show you some images because I can't really bring it in here.
Okay.
I talked the last few weeks about the mess I have in my basement. I have a storage room in my basement where when we built our house, they had I'd asked them to run Cat 5e and Cat 6 cable and all the coaxial cable and all the speaker wire for the different speakers in the house, all running into one location. And they did that, and it was great. But then after they ran it in there, I was like, well, don't I get like ends on all this stuff? Like do you terminate all these wires? He's like, well, that's extra. I was like, okay. Well, then I was like, well, how much extra? So to pay somebody to put all these ends on and stuff, because there's probably like 25 network cables down there, a bunch of coaxial cables. Well, he gave me a bill for it, and I was like, oosh. I was like, I'll just do it myself. So when we first moved in, I kind of just hooked up what I needed to hook up to get everything running. We were moving in, so it was hectic. I didn't have time to like really sit down and focus on getting a network rack together. I just kind of got it going the best of my ability. So this week, I kind of started ordering stuff on Amazon, picking Opie's brain. He helped me a lot. I really appreciate it. He does a lot of network management through his work. So I
dabble.
picked his brain. He dabbles. But he was a valuable resource, and I really appreciate it because I had no idea what I was doing. So I'll post. I'm going to share some images here if I can. Let me see if I can figure this out.
Yeah. So a little bit of a making a sausage here. Pete's going to share his desktop in Discord, so we'll have to turn our overlay off.
Let me see if I can figure this out here. Okay, there's that. Okay, here we go. I think I got this.
Yeah,
I'm going to share my other screen here.
Yeah, we're good on the YouTubes.
Okay, so this is the before.
Let's see, watch stream. Let me turn off the overlay.
I didn't get to see live.
Yeah, there we go.
Watch
see
stream.
if you guys can see this here, and I'm gonna see if it pops up on.
I just wish I could make it bigger than that, but
yeah, it's.
So this is the before. So what we have here is a total mess. For everybody listening to the audio podcast, pretty much exactly what I described.
It's literally it's a rat's nest of Cat 5 cables.
Yep.
A rat's nest of Cat 5e, some Cat 6, a bunch of speaker wire. It's just a mess, right? So this is the before, and you can kind of see down here. I have my switch laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I have some extension cords. It's a mess, guys. And this is the way that it's sat since March. So props to my wife for not divorcing me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is down in our basement in a little storage room, so it's not huge thing, but we kind of had to just move around it. for the past 7-8 months, and so it's not been fun. So let's see if I can do this. What do I gotta do? I stop that?
Yeah. Why did you end the stream? Why'd you end it?
You just need to go to the next picture.
Just go to the next picture.
Oh, okay. I see what I'm doing here. All right. My bad. I'm new here, guys. All right, so click on that again.
Okay.
All right, and now let me end this. All right.
Here, stream has ended.
Oh, it's okay. I don't think that'll work that way.
Okay, that's fine. Just find the next picture and share it.
Okay. Well, let me just. I'll just kind of skip to the chase here. I was going to kind of.
We can go through.
Here's the after.
Whoa! Look at that.
Here's what we got going on here. Same image. I try to take it from the exact same perspective. But basically what I did was some serious cable management. These racks. So if you guys don't know about network racks, let me tell you about network racks.
Tell us.
They're completely modular. So you can like buy the housing, right? But then they're kind of like a standard size on like width. It's kind of like Michael or Opie, I'm sorry. They're like their U's are like the spacing of the height, right? So like this is a U12 network rack. So there's like 12 slots basically, and you can put in there anything you want. It's completely modular. So what I put in there was let me see. I might be able to do this. Let me see if I can just.
Yeah, if you're sharing your desktop, just go to the next picture. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Let's see.
Well, wait.
No, that didn't work.
What?
Never mind.
Are you sure you did all that network work by yourself?
Well, I don't think that this is very. All right, here we go. All right, this will be the last one. There had to be an easier way to do this. So this is a close-up of the network rack. On the top, got my patch panel. So all the network cables come into there, right? And then I got it labeled nice and neat. Goes from the patch panel up on the top through my little wire management, that thing in the middle there. That's called a wire management little section there. Then it goes down, plugs into my switch. And from there, it's like that's how everything gets on the interwebs in my house.
So what's the box underneath that?
Well, so then the red and green thing, that is on the back side of it is 8 outlets. Like it's like a power strip.
It's a power strip.
Basically a power strip that you mount in a network rack.
Yeah. And what's under that?
Surge protector, ground, shows you all that stuff. Then below that, I put in a shelf. See all those little things that have like the little screws on the sides? Those are just all modular, completely modular. So that little Rio Link box thing in the middle there, that little box on the shelf, that's the DVR for the house security cameras on the outside.
Oh, okay.
So I put everything in there that relies on the network. Gotcha. So I can plug it in to the patch panel and it has internet. And then below that is the Denon Hios whole home audio server. So that connects to the internet, and then you can, anywhere where there's speakers in the house, you can just open up your phone, open Spotify, and then there'll be an option of like kitchen or patio or backyard. Anywhere where there's speakers, you can play music, and it's through that.
Awesome. So
that's it. I mean, it probably doesn't look like much, but probably took about 15-20 hours this week. So
no, something like that. That's
it's
something like that is that's a feeling of accomplishment right there. When you get
where's your
like
cable modem at? And where's your Nighthawk?
My wireless router and cable modem are in the living room.
Okay.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
So they sit upstairs. There's one Cat 6 cable that runs from upstairs
down to here.
Yeah.
Down to the switch.
That's the main line. Yeah, that's the main line. That runs into port 1 on the switch. And then from there, that gives the switch all the internet, and then everything plugs in.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and I only have like 12 things plugged in, I think. And there's probably like 5 more that I need to do. I need to put ends on, but they're kind of like room. Like my youngest son, he has internet in his room, but he doesn't really use it, so I didn't put an end on it yet.
Yeah.
So I have room for expandability here up to
That's good.
24.
I see a lot of green lights on there. Got a lot of gigabit going on. Your whole house is gigabit. That's good.
I'm happy with it. My wife's happy with it, so that's my pickup. I finally got that done. Now I can move on to more fun stuff like buying video games again and action figures.
That's awesome. Now you can just get everything set up. You have a whole LAN party down there now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We can play some Wolfenstein, some Doom,
some Doom.
We can
some
play
Quake,
some Unreal. Yeah.
Fortnite.
Put that too.
Oh well, guys.
Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice. Let me get back here to where we were. Close the stream. Get this open. Get that on. Matt, you want to go on our social medias before we go?
We got a lot of them. You can find us on Twitter at anythingnewcast. You can find us on Instagram at anythingnewpodcast. We got a Gmail if you want to send us an email. We're still looking for people to email us about pretty much anything, and we've got some game codes we can give you just for doing that. Our Gmail is anythingnewpodcast@gmail.com. We're on YouTube and Discord. We've got bit.ly links for those since we don't have the Vanity Earls. For YouTube, it's bit.ly/anythingnewYT. And Discord is bit.ly/anythingnewdiscord and the number 1 on the end of that because I screwed something up. So, yeah. So, I mean, you can find us at any of those places and chat with us, watch old episodes, whatever, emails, whatever you want. Tell us what you thought about The Mandalorian, how you agree with me that Luke's CGI face was really, really awful and terrible and bad and the worst thing ever. It was a real smear on the episode. No, I'm just kidding. That's it. That's all. That's where you can find us online.
Yeah, and don't forget. So we're going to watch
Facebook too. Is there an actual link for Facebook though, or
no? You can just search it.
No, just follow our page. If you follow Anything New Podcast on Facebook and like the page, and you'll get notified when we go live.
Gotcha.
And I was going to say, don't forget, if you're listening to this, watch Wonder Woman this week, coming up, and then we're going to talk about it on the next show.
Yeah, and that's real quick. That's one of the reasons we wanted to do this community kind of thing too, where we wanted to pick something that we could all partake in. But we wanted to do it also so we could tell you guys ahead of time. You could watch it, read it, listen to it, whatever it is. You could partake in it as well, and then that would help a larger conversation. So yeah, watch Wonder Woman 1984 on Christmas, or at least before December 27th. And we'll all talk about it.
Yeah, because we recognize that we throw a lot of stuff at you guys each week, and if it's we're talking Queen's Gambit and this and that, it's there's no way that that you're going to be able to keep up with everything that we're watching since there's 3 of us and 1 of you. So this gives us a chance to kind of name some of the specific, and then we're going to go in depth next week and talk about Wonder Woman. So watch it, and we'll have a good time next week.
And if you hate it, it's not my fault.
What? You guys know that I hate movie reviews. I hate professional critic reviews because who are they? Why are they professional movie critics and whatever? And I don't even like community. I just hate reviews altogether. Everybody should just form their own opinion. But I do like to keep up with at least what the buzz is when a new movie comes out. And the buzz around Wonder Woman is positive.
Awesome.
So it's already it's got positive buzz around it.
Well, if there's nothing else, guys, we'll kind of call it a night. I hope everyone has a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And if you don't believe in Christmas, do whatever you do and be happy about it. So there you go. But yeah, be safe out there, guys. Just go ahead and sign off, and we'll call it a night. See you guys.
See you guys. Merry Christmas.
Goodbye, friends. Craig's gone.
Bye, Craig. Merry Christmas, Craig.
YouTube's